A former governor of Jigawa State in northwest Nigeria, Sule Lamido, says the Northern Consensus presidential candidate for the People's Democratic Party, which was announced last Friday, doesn't represent the position of party members in the region. Over the past weeks, 4 presidential hopefuls, including a former Senate President Bukola Saraki, Bauchi State Governor Bala Mohammed, Governor Aminu Tambuwal of Sokoto State, and retired banking executive Muhammad Ayatuddin held consultations across the country on consensus candidacy. On Friday, Saraki and Bala Mohammed were announced as Northern Consensus candidates, following a report released by elder statesman Ango Abdullahi. In the immediate aftermath of that decision, Bauchi State Governor Bala Mohammed ascribed his endorsement as Northern Presidential Consensus candidate of the People's Democratic Party, alongside former Senate President Bukola Saraki, as the work of God. The governor told journalists on Saturday that he was not aware of how the Forum of Elders arrived at their decision. Well, the governor himself is now joining us to have a conversation about this unfolding story. Governor Bala Mohammed, you're welcome to This Day Live, the Sunday talk show.
Thank you very much, my brother Ruben.
Thank you.
I'm happy to be here.
Well, I'm tempted to start on a lighter note, but I'll reserve that for later. The lighter note is that you were one of the presidential aspirants who showed up at the villa yesterday to take jollof rice and pepper soup that had been provided by the First Lady of Nigeria. But we'll come to that later. I would like to know how the pepper soup tasted and what that was all about. But,
okay.
But let's go.
Okay, that's okay with me.
Let's go with the more serious matter, which is the front page of This Day today.
Yeah.
It says, Atiku Tambuwal Lamido rejects Saraki Mohammed as Northern PDP's consensus presidential candidates. Denounced Babangida-backed Ango Abdullahi's report. PDP summons NEC meeting Wednesday. Tinubu, Umahi, others hosted by Aisha Buhari at Iftar. What is this idea of consensus candidacy by Northern Elders Forum, or Northern Elders as it were? What is it all about? What are the political implications? You describe it as an act of God or a work of God. Why are you so sure?
Thank you very much, my brother Ruben, and thank you, Nigerians, for the opportunity to talk on this issue, which is a recurring issue now, because it's the issue on the table. The consensus issue is hot, developed, and the idea came to be between the 4 of us who sat down on our own volition, and we decided we needed to do what our forefathers have been doing, those who had ruled this country with the element of Nigerianness, Nigeria first in their mind, not to talk of our personal interests, to make to reduce rancor, division, and dissensions. And we decided that, look, rather than going ahead and be overheating the polity, we should sit down and talk to ourselves. And we came to Bauchi, discussed for about 2.5 hours, Saraki and myself, and then Tambuwal. And we agreed that it is not about personal interest, it's about Nigeria. And we needed to do something to show that it is a selfless endeavor, it's a service to the nation. And so we decided that at least we should discuss between ourselves so that there will be inclusiveness, there will be collectivism, there will be consensus in a manner that whoever becomes president will not take it as the winner takes all. It will not be like the current situation where the presidency is just one omnibus person who does this at the whims and caprices of the presidency. It should be something that has to do with collectivism, sharing of positions, and making sure that all this nepotism and aspect of exclusion are done away with. After all, presidency is a collusion or a conspiracy of politicians to come together for the national development and growth in a manner that it will not harm anybody. So we went to President, but we said we would do it. If we cannot do it, we will get elders to do it. We were never even thinking about Northern Elders Forum. We only thought of somebody who would be an unbiased umpire, somebody that has no personal interest, somebody that has done it before, and somebody that we all believe in. And we decided together, the three of us, that will go to General Babangida. Later on, Mohammed Hayatuddin joined us and took the lofty idea. So we told him, we are giving you a free ticket without any conditionality. Do what you can do to sort us out. We are all eminently qualified to lead this country and represent the North, and in doing that, lead the country with justice and equity. And we gave him a clean bill of this check to come out with any one of us. If he had done it at the time we went and said, look, it is Saraki, it is Bala, it is Tambol or Hayatuddin, we would have walked away. But somehow, because he wanted to bring in collaboration, interaction, and consultation, he brought the Northern Elders Forum, whom we never knew because they are elders and they are not politicians. And they decided to go into voting, consultation. At the end of the day, a report was read that some voting went on. And of course, at the point, he even said we should choose ourselves and choose one other person. We said no. We didn't want to walk out with malice between us. We want to walk out feeling high that at least you have done justice to us and you have all the discretion to do it. At the end of the day, I was surprised that when this thing was done with a lot of credibility, not a political platform. We are not going into a primaries. We were not asking political party or the PDP to do it for us. We know where the PDP will come it. As I've heard some elders are saying that they are not consulted. Yes, we didn't want them to be consulted because we were not going to them to choose. We are going to elders who will now say this is the person that will step out, and for those elders now to choose between whoever is a Nigerian, because they are not supposed to just look at us as Northerners, Southerners, but they are supposed to look at us as candidates. So when we emerged, we decided to work together, and we are working together. For whatever happened, I never knew those elders that were consulted, and I think they are not politicians, and they did it in the exercise of their community responsibility, not political responsibility. So I'm surprised with some of the permutations, some of the dissensions coming out, and of course some of us who didn't win or who lost, and I believe even the elders said there was no victor, no vanquish, no loser, no winner, and of course whoever doesn't agree can go ahead and do it. For me, I consider it as an act of God and something that has given me an added impetus to step out and render my services to Nigeria, and using my pedigree and antecedent in the past, not looking at my region or my zone, but to make sure I bring some salutary effect on the polity that has pushed us on the brinks.
Well, Governor Mohammed, will you consider this consensus, the emergence of a consensus, or a pruning down, or just an advisory intervention? Because do you think it will be binding on the PDP? Because the PDP as a political party has now summoned a meeting for Wednesday. Because when you talk about consensus, it's, as we have seen in the neighbor's yard in APC, when they tried to choose their national working committee, it was just about individuals.
Yes.
But now we have two persons.
Yes, as I said, it is not a party issue, it is a community issue. PDP is not expected to oblige by the consensus, but we were just at our personal level or interpersonal level, reducing the number of aspirants to a level where it will be manageable. Of course, everybody is free to run with zoning or whatever, but certainly if we are able to come together, that is the The moment that we are bringing harmony, bringing consultation, bringing oneness, and of course removing personal interest. But certainly, as we said, the PDP is not calling next meeting to discuss consensus. They are calling meeting to discuss other very pressing electoral issues, our timetable and the rest, I believe. The consensus has nothing to do with the political party. If we wanted consensus at the party level, then all aspirants from the south, from the east would have walked to the National Working Committee to do consensus. And everybody knows our constitution of the party. And of course, the electoral guideline, it will be guided by the primaries, which is already set for next month. So it is, as you said, the PDP is not obliged to recognize this consensus. We, at the personal level, we are doing it to reduce rancor and minimize division in a manner that it will have a salutary effect on the polity.
But what do you think of the story on the front page of this day newspaper, saying that Atiku, Tambuwal, and Lamido, they've rejected that decision by the northern elders. And former Minister of Foreign Affairs, Sule Lamido, former Governor Jigawa State, already issued a statement to say, no, this is an expression of personal opinion, not a reflection of the position of the North.
I respect the politicians you mentioned. They were not mainly part of the consensus, although we interacted with every stakeholder, including them, just to tell them what we were doing, and they agreed. Even His Excellency, the former Vice President, we discussed with him and he agreed it was a noble idea, but he didn't really become part and parcel of it, but he knew it was a good idea of closing rank. And of course, as for His Excellency Sule Lamido, he is leading the former governors, and we consulted him and he knew about it. Even at that point, he has shown his reservations, to be fair to him, and we respect his opinion, irrespective of what interest he has. It is not at this level that we want him to recognize or not. Of course, he may have his interests of those that he is interested in. We don't question it. It is his own democratic right to reject or to accept, but it is not at this point that one feels disillusioned because someone who is a politician, who has a deep-seated interest, has rejected something that we are doing out of modesty and humility, out of community engagement, in a manner that will bring back the old politics, of politics without bitterness. As for Aminu Tambuwal, already you heard he made a statement, and I respect him. He is my brother, and he is free to run, because even with consensus, if you don't agree, it is the expression of your universal suffrage to go to any length. As for me and Saraki, this is an added impetus, I said. Whatever it is, I am more emboldened to go ahead, and I'm not afraid of any politician coming to compete with me. You know my antecedent, Ruben. I have never lost election. I'm stepping out. I may not be the best. Certainly some of the best, like you and others, have not stepped out. But for some of us who stepped out, I'm one of the best too. But certainly I know there are also best candidates in the game, and I'm ready to compete with them to any level, me and Saraki, and we will win. We expect them to really be with us. If we lose, we are ready to be with them. This thing is not about individual. It is not about north or south. It is not about east or west. It's about Nigeria. And even if you are a consensus candidate, you know you will not win without other major stakeholders in the game. So this is just a process, my brother.
Well, Governor Mohammed, you just mentioned North or South. Do you think it is fair for the North, after 8 years of a president of northern extraction, even if in the neighbor's yard, for northerners, like your good self, Senator Saraki, and the others that we have been mentioning, to now come forward and say they still want to lead Nigeria in 2023? And the PDP in particular has had to jettison Section 7, subsection 3C of its constitution. And southerners are saying, no, this is not fair. This is an act of injustice. And why are northerners thinking that, they alone must rule Nigeria?
Thank you very much, Mr. Abachi, for the opportunity to answer this question. Mr. Abachi, you know my antecedents as a Nigerian who believes in justice and equity. The issue of zoning is encapsulated in our constitution. But it is not fair to the North to be zoned out when it is the party has not zoned it to a particular zone. PDP had about 6 or 7 zoning spree or situation from 1999 to date, and most of the zoning had gone to the south. And the zoning of the PDP, not APC, has been repudiated in 2010 when the sitting president died. For the period that PDP had been in power, the North had a stint with presidency for only 2 years. 14 years, the northern part supported the South in a manner that we are able to give latitude and liberate and give democratic expression of rights so that at least there is justice and equity. And today, I believe the way and manner in 1999, the Southwest was appeased because of the Abiola situation. The North needs to be appeased because at the time Eradua died, we had, me in particular, championed the cause of the South through the doctrine of necessity for our president to assume responsibility, to ascend to the presidency, and even in 2011 to continue without due regards to the issue that the North had not had long stint in the presidency. So in PDP, in fact, most people from our side believe it is the North that is supposed to produce the presidential candidate. As for the APC, which is a party that I don't believe in, I don't belong to, they must, as a moral responsibility, zone their presidency to the South. If they don't do it, that is the issue that you will talk about injustice or recurring dismal of Northern presidency. What people are saying is as if the North has already become president by just assuming presidential candidacy of the PDP. No, we are a different party. We are practicing multi-party democracy, and each party has its own rules and regulations. And the issue of saying that it is a fait accompli that the zoning should go to the South has not been decided by the PDP. And it is unfair for some of us who rose from a modest background to champion the cause of the South and Nigeria to be just sidelined because of one permutations here and there that is unjustifiable.
But, okay, what is your motivation? What is motivating your interest in the presidency? Considering the fact that you are a first-time governor of Bauchi State and you stand a chance of going for a second term. So why don't you just, stay in Bauchi State, take a second term, but now you want to, you are more interested in the presidency of Nigeria. What do you have to offer?
I have so much to offer, my brother. I believe in Nigeria first, because Nigeria I have benefited so much from, and I have, over the period when I live my life as a media man, as a civil servant from level 8 to 17 in the civil service, in the parliament when I was a senator, and of course as the minister of FCT, I have discharged enough responsibility. I have garnered a lot of experience. I have built enough bridges. I have known people across the board, including you, Mr. Abati. Various constituencies that I have, I am eminently prepared by God to lead this party and to lead this country in a manner that will bring peace and harmony, do away with nepotism, expression of self-actualization and separatism, expression that are born out of injustice. Because you know my pedigree, we have worked together. I have always said the truth. I am for justice, and I believe when I come on board, the issue of insecurity that is a product of cluelessness administration does not take into cognizance even our different heterogeneous feelings, our diversity, and so on and so forth. And the feeling that is down the line in terms of community engagement, we will be able to do. We have the litmus test, the roadmap. I have assembled Nigerians, even before I became a governor, to do a baseline study on Nigeria. And I brought people from all walks of life. My own streak of leadership recruitment is different. I don't believe in sectionalism. I don't believe in nepotism. I believe Nigeria needs a leader like me who believes in collectivism, who respects the aspiration of every section of the country, who will be able to develop the way I have used my ability in the FCT, and of course even in Bauchi, using small resources and doing so much. of making sure M&E is brought to the level where supervision, looking inward, not going for loans, not bringing other initiatives that are not workable. I have done it in the FCT, I can do it, I have done it in Bauchi, I can do it for Nigeria if given the opportunity. And as I said, there are other eminently qualified Nigerians from all sections of the country whom I can support if I am not able to get it. But at 63, I believe it's time for me to step out and offer myself with humility. If I'm given the opportunity, I will do wonders, because you know I'm even prepared to a level where I'm a general in politics. I have gone to prison for Nigeria. I have carried the cross of the last administration and have come out unperturbed and touched. And because of all this experience, I know where the shoe pinches. I know what to do with humility and with persuasion in a manner that we can even launch ourselves to the global arena. I heard that you have mentioned the name of Akintoye, a diplomat of repute. Nigeria has come to a level where our attitude as a government has caused so much perception problem, so much sensibilities of self-actualization from other sections of the country, which are right, because people are excluded deliberately. And of course, as a federalist, I believe in the federal government, on the corporate existence of Nigeria, and my adage is Nigeria first.
Well, Governor Bala Mohammed, yes, I like your expression of faith in the Nigerian project, very well articulated. But some of your critics are saying this, and I need a clarification on that. They say if you believe so much in the Nigerian project, why is it that you are going for the screening for Bauchi State Governorship in 2023 on the 27th of this month? If you don't want to be governor, why don't you focus on one? Yes. I just need that clarification.
No, governorship is a mentoring process. I'm not going for governorship. I cannot go for the two candidates. Our party has rules and regulations. I cannot. But certainly I have the opportunity if I don't lose. I'm not the first person to do that. And some people have done it. I don't want to mention their names. But if I do it, I will go back with humility and accept what is my fate. But certainly I think I'm one of the best that is stepping out. And you know it, Abachi, that we can do wonders if given the opportunity. I cannot at the same time go for security for the governorship, at the same time for the presidency. I have jettisoned my governorship aspiration to go for the bigger responsibility, and of course the recognition of the northern elders has given me an added impetus. It has made me, emboldened me to go ahead, because I cannot abdicate responsibility or recognition given to me at whatever level. No matter how loose, I must be able to make sacrifice, and I believe leadership is a service. So I'm not going for the two at the same time.
Okay, there is a strong rumor going on out there that your former boss, your former principal, President Goodluck Jonathan, is being persuaded by some people. Even today, I was wrongly quoted as having said, oh, President Jonathan is set to declare for the presidency, even when I didn't say such a thing. I recall that you had said, oh, if your boss was running, you would not be part of it. Okay, so what's going to happen, just in case it happens with all these rumors?
Thank you very much.
So what will you do?
This is a statement that I made at the beginning of this process. I am somebody who have a deep sense of gratitude for President Jonathan. I became a minister by God's wish and but through him. I came to limelight in Nigeria through President Jonathan. I have never left him for 1 minute. He is my boss, he is my mentor. I respect him so much. And so in whichever party that he was running, I said I would not run, because I would not see myself like the rest after I've been mentored by somebody so laboriously, who, despite all the parsimonies and what have you people said about me, he kept me in FCT for 6 years, and I would come and then mount a rostrum and be joining issues with him. I cannot do that. So I told him. He even asked me to go ahead and do it along with him. I said, no, if you are running, I'm not running. I think I have had some permutations here and there, those who wish him to run. Of course, we have come to a level where I have gone too far, and I'm even having an appointment to see him to really find out the truth, because he is going to put some of us in a very difficult condition. I'm a person of honor and integrity. I am a person of my own words. I don't want to swallow them, but I don't want him to be used or to be deceived and deluded by those who just want to use him to stop me. But I believe he is an eminent Democrat who believes in mentoring. I respect him. He may allow me to go. But if the situation persists, I will be able to go back to the elders. Even if the thing is so complicated that I'm even getting endorsement from my elders. Therefore, I need to do a lot of legwork to be able to convince if I am withdrawing. But certainly, I have that respect for him forever, and it will linger up to the time I am normal, because I respect people who had a hand in my upcoming becoming what I have become. And certainly Jonathan, for me, is somebody that I will never disrespect for whatever reason.
Well, Governor Mohammed, where are you with the EFCC matter? Because you recall that one of the things your critics say is that, oh, you want to be governor so as to protect yourself and get immunity. Some people are also now arguing, oh, he wants to be president so that the immunity from EFCC can be further extended. What is the situation? Because it may come up. Were you to win the ticket?
Well, these issues are issues of legal interpretation. Even when I won the governorship, people thought I would not be inaugurated. I have been around. I didn't run away. I went to FCC on my own free volition on invitation. I'm not afraid. Whatever happened to me, I take it as part of accountability. It is true. Why am I so grateful to Jonathan? He has given me latitude and leverage to exercise influence and power. And I use it to the best of my ability without self-delusion or self-interest. And I'm not afraid of looking at my own records, and that's why I have been under litigation for a long time, and there was no proof in any way. And in fact, even when I and you were locked up, I came out and sued the EFCC, and I won my case against them on human rights. Even the house that I'm living today, I won it against EFCC. It's the major evidence against me. It was a mortgage I took, and it has been returned to me because this administration is not only fighting corruption, they should be doing good governance. And I must express appreciation to the president and to the investigating agency, and of course to the Attorney General for looking at the rule of law, because many people are trying to use this to stop me. Yes, at the time we left office in 2015, I am one of those prominent Nigerians who featured prominently in the administration of Jonathan, and there was no quarrel. I don't blame anybody for subjecting me to this accountability, but certainly we need people like us who came out of this kind of exercise unscathed. And I'm daring anybody, if I have anything, let him say it, because immunity or no immunity, there is no any petition that has been sent against me from where I worked before. I have worked as a civil servant diligently, as a media man, as a legislator, and even now as a governor. You have seen what I'm doing in Bauchi. Some doubting Thomases were saying because of my EFCC misrepresentation, I may not perform. You can see I'm grateful to my colleagues in the media, the Sun, and the leadership that are giving me governor of the year. I'm telling you, you need to go through this process to be able to be a complete politician that will present himself to Nigerians, and of course to be able to do things. I've been known all the other sides of power, and of course with the experience that I have, I don't think it is anything to worry about.
Well, Governor Mohammed, you just mentioned Bauchi State and what you are doing there. What is it that you have done in Bauchi State that is making you think that, oh, it's better to look for the topmost job?
No, it is not Bauchi that is giving me the impetus to move. It is just because I have seen that in Bauchi, I was able to recognize one secret of leadership. That is secret of engagement, community engagement, and doing correct procurement, and of course making sure you use the resources available to to develop the state. I have done so much within 3 years, which was better than, I am not here to praise myself, but I will invite Arise or this day, anybody to go and see what we are doing in Bauchi together with my cabinet. I have paid all the obligation, most of the obligation taken, even though they were not well deployed in terms of loans and exposure. Since the 3 years I came, I have paid over 40 billion loan that I inherited. And of course, I just drew a line. I am not the type that make noise. I reverse all those obnoxious policies or tendencies that I found quietly, so that I will not cause perception and sensibilities outside. And I was able to draw a line and start afresh. And before I even came into office, I had my studies, my baseline studies on Bauchi, on all the multidimensional aspect of governance. And that is why I'm able to hit the ground running with infrastructure, with services in health and education. I declared emergency on health with the experience I garnered at the federal level and the assistance of world bodies like UNICEF, EU, and the rest. We were able to provide over 400 primary health centers in the state. Hitherto, they were not existing, and of course, including the World Bank. And I was able to leverage on the federal agencies that are giving intervention, like UBEC and SUBEB, and we have done so much on education. As for the roads, I was able to raise our IGR from zero level, 200 million a month, to about 1.5 billion a month. And we went to the bank, and we were bankable, we were respectable, and so they gave us money, and we are doing this Bauchi renewal program, where we have built over 500 kilometers of road, both in the city and the urban areas. In terms of water, I inherited an African Development Bank project. I was able to finish the project, and now we have water for the next 50 years for Bauchi. So I am looking at this from a very diverse point of view, that Bauchi needs this kind of thing. And then, of course, because of immigration and migration, Bauchi's population has increased to up to 10 million. So, and in terms of security, I was able to engage the traditional institutions, the stakeholders, in a manner that nobody comes and mess with us in Bauchi, and we are the most peaceful state in the northeastern part of the country. So that is something. We are getting investors from everywhere. You need to go to Bauchi. I'm building a lot of housing program, 2,500 housing units, courtesy of Federal Ministry of Finance, that I was able to get loan from, and of course everything is almost finished. We have in agriculture access to farm implements, farm inputs. It is no longer an issue for providing fertilizer, taking so much subsidy from somewhere, giving bogus contracts of billions of naira to supply fertilizer. We are producing our fertilizer with minimal cost, and I was able to give revolving fund to the fertilizer plant to be selling and coming back. Just 250 million, and everybody has fertilizer. So, Governor, well, you want me to continue?
No, I'm sure you can go on and on and on. But I need to wrap this up very quickly before we take our second guest. But
thank you.
Tell me about that pepper soup and jollof rice that you people ate at the presidential villa yesterday.
I went to the villa because I want to show you that I'm a product of consensus. I believe in coming together. And when Her Excellency the First Lady invited me, she is someone that I respect so much. Even at the time I was passing through difficult times, she was able to recognize my travails. I respect that woman so much as a mother of the nation, and she invited me to come for iftar, and I knew it was an opportunity to meet other eminent Nigerians who are stepping out to present themselves, and I was lucky. I met Siwaju Bola Tinubu. We discussed. He was calling me consensus, and I told him that if you were in PDP, we would have just given you the ticket, because we knew that without you, Buhari wouldn't have been a president. And so in PDP, we recognize contribution. You see, we have some people in Nigeria that we must recognize, and it was definitely a good outing for me yesterday. The First Lady is a unifier. She has shown that she is a mother of the nation, and all the presidential aspirants, not only in PDP, APC, but all the other parties were there. And it was an opportunity to show that I'm really a product of consensus or closing rank, irrespective of party differences.
Well, I would like to thank you very much, Governor Bala Mohammed, for joining us on this Day Live, the Sunday talk show. You can be sure here at this end, we'll keep a watching brief on development. And we'll see what happens in your part of the yard. Thank you very much indeed for joining us.